Hey guys, Dan here from Teralume Industries. I want to take a moment today to go through the XGO Tray and Canopy range. Welcome to our HQ facility on the Sunshine Coast. Today, we're actually running through the dual cab tray and canopy range. What we want to focus on today is the main features and the main benefits of these trays and how they're put together. Factory features on all of our trays are freshwater tank. So a 5052 aluminium water tank that sits up in the headboard, filled through here, having just a simple gravity fed system makes it a lot more reliable, no hassles, no wiring. So really simple in that regard. Up here we've got power. So a standard idea of what we want to achieve is ease of decoupling the canopy from the tray. What we've done here is a three-way Anderson that carries obviously positive and negative, but of course your ignition that comes down through here and then passes through the tray down to the vehicle. So it's sturdy, it's reliable. Anderson's a trusted connection as well. So that's how we do power into the canopy. Another cool feature of our trays is actually these tapered toolboxes. Traditionally, they actually are a swing door. We've actually gone for a drawer. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Most dual cabs, and I'd say in the next 5 years, all dual cabs will have a blind spot monitor somewhere on the rear in the tub. We don't get a say in where they go. We have to comply with OE standards. Not a unique design to us, but the way we've done it's a little bit unique. Fully sealed. There's a lot of compression on that, so the seals are very thick. Naturally a compression lock as well. All lockable, so you can padlock that and key lock it as well, which is really cool. Another really cool feature of these, standard again on every tray, is pulling trundle drawer. By lifting this little flap here, we've got another whale tail that unlocks the drawer. There's a couple of cool features of this. One's actually the use of a table. So you actually get another, like a utility table. Another lockable latch. Up comes the lid. Inside goes all the way back, 1500 deep, comes out about 950, and down it comes. A little bit of a shunt pushes it in. Actually, another really cool feature of these two is we don't use telescopic arms or runners. You can see here an extrusion, and inside our extrusion runs on a roller bearing system. So our bearing system pretty much is flawless. You can take your vehicle anywhere and do whatever you need to do, and you won't have any dramas. That just bumpers against that, locks down, that comes back down. Another standard inclusion with all the XGO trays is twin rear tail lights, fully LED, sequential indicators, so they do zip across, which is actually quite a cool feature. What is the best thing is the brightness of the reverse light. Now it sounds crazy, but so often we found tail lights were just not bright enough for even the reverse camera. So we opted to choose and actually design a tail light that has a much brighter reverse light. So even if you're not reversing, putting it in reverse provides almost a work light style brightness, which is fantastic. Typically the fuel filler on most dual cabs is on the front left corner. Given this is a 79 series, in particular dual cab has a tank on the rear. So we designed our own brand new filler neck. You can run high flow diesel. It's internally vented as well, effectively back to an OE style filler. So that's a really cool feature. Again, standard on the Teralume XGO tray. A lot of cool features. All of this is standard, nothing's an optional extra above the tray sides. Firstly, we've got over center latches. They're bloody strong, they're spring loaded. So they're a very definite, very absolute lock, but they just slide off like so. Very simple, reasonably lightweight, really strong. And stainless capping stops you taking off your powder coat should you need to use them for utility. To put them back on, it's equally as simple. Slide up all the pins, lock like so. Moving on to the tray construction, how we make it, how it's designed, and what our design theory was. It had to be user-friendly. It had to be simple and strong. Second, it had to be lightweight. Beneath this is effectively our tray frame. We needed to have an edge profile that was really strong. Take our integrated tie-down points. We also needed to make sure that it had a spot effectively to rebate our tray floor in. Built this extrusion, wasn't available, we tooled it ourselves. It's a 4mm extrusion, so really strong for tying things down. It also lends itself to a great solution to actually be the cornerstone of the tray's construction. Within that, we have a frame that we can show through CAD models is probably the easiest as to how the tray is actually framed underneath. We've used captive threads through the material, through the tray floor, so the tray floor is isolated from mounting. That actually locks the tray to the canopy. It's brilliant, works really well. The idea of XGO is expedition on the go, so we needed to make it simple, quick, depending on the scenario of the situation, whether you're putting this thing on over a weekend to try and get away. We wanted to make sure that it was as fast a system, the most reliable system, and the safest system we could design. And it's enabled us to set a new standard in speed in actually lifting these things off and on. It's a premium product. You get premium design. These things don't go anywhere. We don't move an inch. Really, really strong. So another design consideration we made was how to mount these trays to vehicles. So we needed to make sure we had something really, really strong, but it didn't limit us to a proprietary product for every vehicle. So we came up with a universal style mounting system, which literally attaches to our main frame or our ladder frame chassis. We have wings that attach to our main frame. We sandwich this all together. There's 4 bolts each one, and we have 3 rails. It allows us to move the tray around as we need to get a really precise, proper fitment as well. So it's all steel. We don't use aluminium. Steel, this is the part that if it were to move or take vibrations meant to. So you come away with an incredibly strong system. So we wanted to make sure it was available to enormous amounts of vibration resistance, obviously really strong, but it was also adjustable and movable between vehicle platforms and chassis without too much modification, if any. All right, so now we're going to move on to the canopy where the real fun begins. And this is where we can get pretty adventurous with what we do within accessory mounting, roof and the rear, and of course what we can put inside. So I'll start off with firstly the lines. All our profiles match. So right the way through, even down to the tray line, all the way to the rear, everything fits perfectly within the footprint of the tray, which is really aesthetically important. There is an aesthetic component to vehicle builds these days. We didn't want to escape that with ruining lines, symmetry and so on. With the Teralume XGO range, there's a lot of subtle design elements and the design language that people probably don't notice till they're mentioned. And this is probably one of the more significant ones. As we move forward, we've got dual whale tail locks. We don't use pins to the side. We use them down to the underside of the canopy frame there. So as we open the door, another major consideration as we open the doors, you'll notice the very small profile here, just under 50 millimeters before we get to the actual tray floor itself. Massive amount of research and development. Our first generation design did not feature this. This is a next generation design. We needed to have a flush floor. We didn't want to be building accessories up. We didn't want to be putting false floors in. We actually built a false floor in our previous design, and it weighed in at nearly 50 kilos. And as we continue to add 50 here, 50 there, 40 there, we start getting into GVM limits or exceeding them very quickly without much of a fit out or people in the vehicle. This being the 79 series, we've got an opening height of nearly 830 mil. The dual cab normal typical range, even the space cab range, is 100 mil smaller, and that gives us an opening height of just over 730 mils, which is realistically probably one of the biggest on the market considering the range we've got to work with. So we don't have to build our accessories up. We don't have to waste space building them up, decreasing our opening height. The next design consideration was, as notably you can see, channel frame. Channel frame's consistent through the entire canopy, even the floor, 4 of them across the tray floor, entire rest of the canopy frame in a uni-strut style as well. We can mount accessories with a channel nut, and then we can move those accessories around without drilling holes everywhere. So as you'll notice in some of our bigger builds like the N80 Hilux we've got, there's a slew of accessories in there. We're talking battery systems, front wall kits, power pods, fridges, drawers, even accessories hanging off the top. None of it's drilled in. We design our accessories around our channel frame. We really truly believe that drilling holes is a lack of design, and we really need to be utilizing those channels as much as we can. At 100, 110 kilometers an hour, water belting down through this, heavy rain, or in extreme dust environments, it's very common we see mounting holes for accessories permeating moisture and leaking dust through there. When we do shut the door, we use a compression lock, which essentially allows the lock to form into position. As you close the latch, it actually pulls the latch, subsequently pulling the door into the seal as well. Up on the hinge, we use a piano hinge. All the way across, there is a gutter system inherently built into the frame, which allows us to have water escape down the sides of the canopy, not through the seal, not through the canopy, or not down through the door. Moving on to gas struts, we do have a dual adjustment design. You can adjust the leverage point of the door here. So if you do start mounting things on the door, Maxtrax bits and pieces, solar panels, and require a different fulcrum or leverage, we can move the strut. So you do have that availability on both axes on that, which is really cool. Up here, very unique to us, is actually another hatch. People have asked what that's for. Mainly utility purposes for running services, connecting cables, so on and so forth. A couple of customers have actually put things like hat stubby coolers and other things, paper towels. There's quite a deep cavity through there. Gusseted all our doors through here. They are fully welded all the way around through stitch welds. This whole frame acts as a rigid element where these doors don't rack and twist. They're absolutely rock solid. You'll see here is a plate which allows us to service the lock. That service latch then protects the lock without ruining the serviceability of getting into it, allowing full mobility no matter what happens inside. It is 2.5mm sheet too, so it's not a paperweight piece of tin you typically see. Another thing here you'll notice is canvas grab handle. So that allows us to stop using this or grabbing here or the sides or some other awkward spot to grab it, and we actually use the handle. Handle comes down all the way till you don't have to pull it anymore. Then you can just use the T-handle to fully close the door properly. So should this need to come off, our 200mm centers for our lift-off points, our 5 bolts come off and the canopy simply lifts off. So as we move through into the canopy itself, we use a 3mm frame. So our frame's a 3mm, and because our frame is so well engineered and structurally strong, we've reduced thickness of the material to 2.5mm, which seems to be much more than adequate. Still gives you a fair bit of skin there if you need it as well. A couple of key points is our opening height. The fact that our door finishes flush with the bottom of the tray, so it's much more aesthetically pleasing. We've also got a flush floor, so we're not having to build floors up. We're not having to add weight. We're not having to add height to accessories. They go straight in. And of course our structural frame, that's all channel nut accessible, so we don't have to drill holes and make critical decisions that maybe one day you want to reverse. Anyone can make anything strong, but if you can finish your setup for under 400 kilos, keeping in mind that we've got tub weights of over 200 now, so having an additional 200 kilos with excessively more usability is a feat in its own, and backing that with a 10-year structural warranty is just a testament to the strength of the XGO system we've created.